Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to Lina Edu webinar on today, photography and visuals with AI in teaching. So for the beginning, just a few basic information before we start. I am Ivana Bokavšek, Lina Edu founder and Lina Edu educator. I'm really happy that I can welcome you today again. So for the start, you should know that this webinar is being recorded and it will last for an hour. And shortly, I will just right now introduce our dear educator. And let me introduce Ivan Boban. It's really, hello, Ivan. It's really a pleasure to meet you today in this occasion. And I need to say that you will have an hour today with a creative, highly creative and experienced and knowledgeable photographer and expert on the use of visuals. So Ivan, the floor is yours, and you can begin with your session. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Ivana, and thank you everybody for joining. As Ivana already said, my name is Ivan Boban. I am an educator here at Lina Edu Erasmus courses in Split, Croatia. And today's webinar will be about the usage of photography and AI visuals in teaching. I'll start with the presentation now. I hope everybody has arrived. So today's presentation today's webinar will have 7 parts. We'll start with the introduction. I'll give some additional context about visuals in teaching. I'll move through the theoretical framework of photography and AI visuals. And then we have a practice session where you will be instructed on how to create some interesting and complete AI visual prompts. After that, we will have a short Q&A session. If you have any questions, I invite you to ask them in the chat box. And if it's something relevant to the slides I am presenting, I'll try to answer right away. If not, we will leave the questions to the end of the session, and hopefully I'll answer them then. And then we will wrap up with some closing remarks, and of course I'll give you some ideas and instructions after the webinar. What can you do with today's knowledge and hopefully some fresh ideas on how to use both photography and AI visuals in your day-to-day teaching. As I said, this is the introductory part, and here I have a very simple timeline infographic on how today's webinar will be, let's say, managed. As I said, we have 7 parts, and we'll start with just a short introduction about this course. So today's webinar is a part of our Photography and AI Visuals in Teaching Erasmus Plus course. This course is mainly targeted for educators, so teachers and school professors. So it can be both elementary, high school, or university. So whatever it is that you are teaching, this can be applied to your subject matter. So the whole Erasmus Plus course is designed to integrate the AI tools of today and tomorrow into your teaching, as well as content creation process. So it can boost your creative skills. And you can explore in the course how to utilize photography and visual expression in all the possible ways to enhance your teaching. The course itself lasts for a week, and within the course you will gain practical and hands-on experience with photography, AI, and AI in photography and visual design. So we are also developing some innovative teaching materials that you can use with your students to engage them in dynamic ways. Mainly, we are talking about some practical exercises here that we really develop together with you in the course, so you can take this knowledge and bring it home and apply it to your everyday teaching. So after this course, you will be able to create various visuals that enhance the learning experience. You will be able to use AI to personalize and differentiate instructions for your students. And of course, you will engage with your students' creativity as well as enhance your own and their digital literacy. So I think digital literacy is very important. And I'll just start, if you can help me with raising your hands. How many of you have already had experience with creating some AI visuals, or have you had any experience with using AI visuals or photography in your teaching? So if you can just raise your hand if you have. If not, that is fine. Yeah, we see some hands. Only one, not much. Okay, so that's great actually, because I hope by attending today's webinar you will gain some beginner-friendly insight into how to use AI as well as visuals in your teaching. So I'll just give a short introduction about me. I am a young professional, so both as an entrepreneur running my own company, as well as working with agencies, freelancing, and working in a family business. So my main passion is visuals and photography. I try to develop my own style. Of course, it takes years of practice and experience, but I think I'm already getting there. I have been professionally working with content creation, photography, and AI for 8-9 years now. So my photographic specialties are various. It's events, landscape photography, portrait work, as well as lifestyle or advertising photography. I have worked with small businesses, medium-sized businesses, various influencers in creating their content, consulting, and helping with marketing campaigns. So I share some of my experiences on my blog, on my website, as well as on my social media, and I am based in Split, Croatia, and you can see in the middle image here, this is our beautiful town of Split. So why is this important? Because it gives me access to many beautiful locations. Croatia has many islands, a beautiful coastline, and wherever you go, you'll find something beautiful to take an image of and experience something unique. So here is some of my work. Is just a selection of galleries. You can see some events, some more artistic. I like boats a lot and the sea, so I work with a lot of yachts and yacht companies in creating their own images, and I like nature, so I try to photograph beautiful nature in Croatia, as well as other parts of the world that I visit. And of course, I like good food, as you can see here. Okay, if you can follow me on my social media. This is my Instagram at Ivan B. There you can see some of my additional images. Ask me any questions, or if you have any ideas, you can share them with me. Okay, so let's start into the context and the theoretical part. Why are visuals in education so important? On the right side, I created a simple graph. So you can see here speed of processing, complexity of information. Is it practical or is it cognitive? And we have 3 slides about this, so I'll just start. So if you are using visuals in your educative materials in your classroom, you can expect improved comprehension and retention of information. Because it is very natural that we process a complete visual faster than reading text. As some of you may have noticed, when I opened up this slide, your eyes automatically went to the right side in order to read and see what was the visual part, and then you went on the left side to gain some additional context about what information is presented here. What I am sharing today is applied to all ages, not just students, so it is very much a psychological factor in humans in our way of processing information. Not only are visuals processed faster, but we also have a better retention, so a better memory encoding, which means that a visual information or a visually presented information helps to create a stronger memory bond inside our brains, which means that later on, when we require some information, we can really easily recollect our memory of how the visual looked like, and then we know what was presented in this way. And what's, let's say, most important here is simplifying complex information. So creating visuals can really help us to simplify and break down complex concepts into easier to digest formats. So here I'm mostly talking about data. So the way that we are expected and learned to visualize data now is different charts, pie charts, graphicons, and infographics, which really have a really nice and solid way of understanding. So it's something that we are all used to watching, and I hope in today's webinar you will learn something about why it's so important and how to apply it to your own teaching. As I mentioned, it increases engagement. So visuals have a lot of pros, but they also have some of negative sides in using visuals. When I talk about the negative, I mostly talk about these two. So it is resource intensive and it requires some sort of training or beforehand some knowledge. When we talk about resource intensive, in order to create a visual, you really need to spend some time designing it. So not only designing it, you need to brainstorm what you want to present, what the information is about, and what is the best way to present it. Then you have to go on about and design it, either by collecting the data or drawing the diagrams or collecting imagery that will enhance your lessons. And it requires some training from your side in order to really be fast and efficient in this process to reduce the resource intensiveness of the process itself. The pro side, the positive side, which is far outweighs the negatives, is that visuals capture your attention. So using an effective visual in your teaching materials can really enhance the information that you are talking about. It makes learning fun, and which is especially important for children, because we try to fight with their attention. So children have a shorter attention span, and this is even more true in today's digital world, where they are so much bombarded with constant stream of different visuals. So by using different styles and different visuals in the course of one of your lessons, you really cover all your bases in order to enhance your lesson fully. And here what's important is visuals cater to diverse learning styles. So a lot of people are visual learners, and visual learners really do well when you are stimulating their visual sense. So try to present the data in a chart. Don't talk about statistics in text. Really try to present the data in a more digestible way. Another let's say negative that I didn't mention is the potential for distraction. So for people who are not that much visually inclined or are not visual types at all, sometimes visuals represent a potential for distractions, which will distract from the main source or the main text that you are trying to teach. So in order to not be a distraction, you really should find the right balance between not giving enough visuals and giving too much visuals. So the last point here about the importance of visuals, it's clarity and conciseness. It stimulates creativity, and it improves the presentation skills of both yourself and your students. So if your students see that you have a easy way of understanding and presenting the data to them, they will be more inclined to improve their thinking about visuals and thinking about information as well as presenting them. So it really is a two-way learning process. You will learn from your students, and you will learn about if they are visual types or are they more audio types or tactile types, as well as your students will be learning from you and the way that you present your information, whatever your subject may be. I'll just give a short overview of what are some of these visual tools that we mentioned in our course and what are some of those that we really focus on. I divided them into 5 main parts, and from here I'll just read it to you. So we start with images and photography. Of course, this is something that's very close to me. I really try to use, I mean, today's webinar, of course, is more suited for information, which is a infographic or a concept map. But for some types of material, an image or a photograph is the most perfect way to explain something. So real life examples, so a photography of a real historical site, for example, is the best way to present this site. Videos and animations, this is becoming very much popular in the last 5 or 10 years because the way that we create videos and animations is really much more cost effective and easy. Before 10-15 years ago, it was really labor intensive and very expensive in order to create custom animations. I know, for example, in some of my business, because we do create videos, clients were paying for, let's say, on average 5 to 10 times more the amount of money that than they do right now in order to create some visuals in animations or create a video for their business. Infographics and pie charts. So I really try to explain to people, use infographics and charts where you have data. So if you don't have any underlying data, try to avoid this type of visual tools because they are really best suited for viewing different types and data in different, let's say, formats. So if you have some statistics or if you have some really data-driven lessons, an infographic or a chart will be the best way to present it. Interactive simulations, or like we call them now, applications, are another modern format. So it's not easy to create interactive simulations because you really need to know all the logical ways that this program or application needs to be built. Of course, in the year 2024, really there are some cheap ways of creating your own applications, but they are still resource intensive with your time because you really need to define the entire scope of the app, you know, from beginning to end, what it is used for, how it is used, and you need to define all the conditional logic inside in order to build one of these apps. But for the Gen Z, I think from all of the tools that I mentioned today, apps and interactive simulations are something that comes most naturally for them. So just bear that in mind. You know, the younger generations really are, from the time they were born, they are using mobile phones and tablets, you know, on a daily basis, which was not the case for people of, you know, my generation or some younger or older people. We really only way that we were able to learn was from books. So when we talk about Gen Z, the rules of the game are a little bit different and are a little bit more expensive. And from all of these visual tools, my personal favorite is mind maps and concept maps. So this is a hybrid of a concept map and a infographic. And why they are my favorite is because I really learned the best in this type. So I'll just give you a short anecdote. When I was in high school, our Latin professor, our Latin language professor, really used a lot of mind maps or concept maps, concept trees that he was drawing by himself with different tenses and grammatical structures that we had to learn in order to pass our Latin. And what's really interesting here, even 15 years after I finished high school, I can still very easily recall some of these mind maps that he drew for us. Sadly, I was not able to find because I thought I had saved some of those lessons from the high school, but sadly I did not. This is the let's say the five main ones, the five main different tools that can enhance your education and that can enhance your teaching style. So how visual storytelling relates to effective teaching. So with all the points that we discussed before, I broke it down into five main topics that really enhance your teaching and make you a better teacher. Your students will have increased engagement with the material. They will have improved comprehension of the material. They will be more easily able to remember and recollect the material that you presented. It is very inclusive, so visual storytelling caters, like I said, to different learning styles. And if we are evolving and moving past just a text-based into more interactive style of teaching, visual storytelling really tries to include everything because not only it's easier to digest, but it can also break some of the language barriers. So if you have a student, foreign student who is struggling with some linguistic concepts or is not really that well, doesn't have that much of a knowledge in the secondary language they are trying to speak, using some visual materials and visual cues can really help them understand some concepts where language, you know, they might not have a knowledge good enough in order to understand what is being talked about. And of course, visual storytelling enhances creativity and expression, not just from your students, but you as well. Like I mentioned before, the way that you decide to present your school materials and your educative materials really will have an impact on them and on their way of processing things, processing information, which will, you know, evolve into their own way of presenting information later on. So if you give them a good understanding when they are young, when they are older, they will be much less likely to struggle with creating presentations or explaining some concepts or difficult ideas to their peers or, you know, to whoever they need to explain. Visual storytelling, it's very much relevant to teaching. It can make you an effective teacher, yeah, it's only plus. So the small negative parts, which are resource intensiveness and requirements for training, can easily be circumvented. Our course is one of those types where we really try to teach you how to think about this stuff, what's important, and how to apply it to your everyday teaching. So we are now getting into more the detailed part of the course. Because I don't have that much time today, I'll just go over the basics of photography and photographic techniques. And this is important because in the next part we will do a practical session with creating image generation, and the concepts that are presented on this slide, you'll see how they evolve later into something that you can communicate when you are creating AI visuals using a image generation tool. Let's start from the first one, which is composition. So there is something called the rule of thirds. So if you are looking through a viewfinder or through a screen, you divide it into thirds, so 33% vertically and 33% horizontally in order to get a grid. And using this grid, you focus the viewer's eye into a subject. So by placing the subject into the meeting points of the grid, you are doing, let's say, a visual presentation to the viewer to more easily digest the image. Leading lines is also a photographic concept that you can, I'll just show you quickly here. So leading lines, for example, on the bottom left one, you can see a leading line that diverts your attention to the line itself. A leading line can also be this leading line from a boat, or this road, which is a leading line to the subject matter here. Okay, so lighting, which is, let's say, the most important part of photography. It's the photography is the art of capturing light, so the way light interacts with the physical world around us. I am a natural light shooter, so meaning that I prefer shooting using the sun as my main source of light, mostly because I do landscape events and summertime activities. Opposing to that would be a studio shooter, which means artificial light shooter, which means that you create photographs using reflectors or different types of lighting, flashes, camera flashes, or whatever it is that is artificially generated, so not natural sunlight. And experimenting with lighting is really what gives your image a different mood and atmosphere. And we'll see more on a practical example later on how that looks like. Focus. Focus is another key concept when it comes to photography and visuals. So what is the subject? And when we talk about the practicalities and the technical of photography, you really need to be able to focus your camera on the subject in order to get a clear and sharp view of whatever it is that you want to present. Another important concept when we talk about focus is the depth of field. So I'll just show you quickly on my screen here. If I blur my background, I am creating a shallow depth of field, which means that my face is in the focus, and as you can see, the background is slightly blurred because the background is not important. What's important in this image is my face talking. Okay, so angle is another key part that really goes hand in hand with the composition, the way that you want to structure your image. And when we talk about angles, we really talk about, let's say, three main ones, which is eye level, which is the way that you see something from a normal human perspective. We also talk about bird's eye, which is top down, or the frog perspective, which is viewing something from the bottom up. When we talk about the bird's eye perspective, we talk about aerial photography, photography taken with drones, or photography taken from helicopters, planes, or satellite imagery. And when we talk about a low perspective photography, we really talk about some stylistic choices, or we talk about architecture photography, because it's really not that easy to create a eye-level photograph of a very tall building, so you will be naturally looking upwards toward it. And the last but not least is simplicity. So, and this is something that I added on my own. It's not really a technique. So when we talk about simplicity, it's about maintaining a clear image. So really try to isolate your subject with making it the focus of the image, making it well composed in relation to the sides or the empty space of your image, and try to keep the rest of the image visually clear. For example, you can see from behind me, the image is a little bit cluttered with the geometry of my apartment. That is why I choose to blur it slightly in order to keep it the focus on me. Okay, so these are the basic photography concepts and the techniques. I just gave a quick overview, so you have a basic understanding of what it is that we'll do next, which is the practical exercise. And if you want to learn more about this, then I really suggest you take our course, because we really go in depth here on how to use these techniques and how to think about them, not just when it comes to photography, but also visuals and your everyday teaching. So this is the last part. This is the context that I'll just give you before we go into the practical exercise. And I think I have, one more slide. So how does AI fit into all of this? How do AI visuals fit into photography? And what's the important part here? I'll just read quickly, because I won't go into too much details. So here on the visual side, you can see how it really all revolves and connects around the main topic, which is visuals itself. And I really took something that is really abstract. It's a little small robot with hands. I thought that it's cute. So the first and the main part of using AI tools, and this is something that's in 2024 and 2023, it's the hot topic, it's the most popular thing, which is text-to-image generation. So there, in the last 2 years, on the market have appeared many different tools that allow you to input some sort of text and get a image. So text-to-image generation is the most popular AI tool when it comes to visuals. But it's not the only one, and it's not the most important one. What we have next in line are enhancement tools. So this is something that I meet with everyday work in my photography and working with different clients. So when I talk to different photographers, I think 90% of them use enhancement tools for their work. And the expectations of a client is that you are using these tools because it really gives the polished and the modern look that people are used to in the modern digital era. And it's becoming increasingly hard to prove to clients that trying something original might be more beneficial to them. Everybody wants the best filter, everybody wants the cleanest image, no noise, no nothing, no clutter. They expect you to remove certain parts of the image that are bothering them. For example, in architecture photography, in real estate photography, you really have a complex editing process that really requires you to use some of these tools. And these tools were available before, but not in an AI version. So 10, 15 years ago, you only had a highly skilled Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop, and similar tools. You had highly skilled users of those tools who were able to enhance your photos. These tools, because they are now AI powered, are really, open more to the mass market and to normal people, everyday users. So you don't have to be a professional or you don't have to be a photographer in order to get benefit from these tools. And the tools, not just enhancement tools, but also background removal and replacement tools. If you can raise your hand just quickly, are you using Canva? Is anybody here using Canva, or has anybody here used Canva for editing images? Yeah, one hand, Dragana. So I hope others, yeah, see two hands. Okay, Miriana as well. So Canva is a very nice and user-friendly tool, and through the years it has evolved, and now they have started using these AI and neural filters inside their software, and with one click of a button you are now able to delete the entire background of an image. Depending on the complexity of the image, you get either very good results or you might have to fix it, but the way it was done 10-15 years ago, it was a very tedious and slow process of manually selecting, the points of a subject and then erasing whatever it was that you needed to erase behind them. So now with AI, it's, one click of a button and then you have a very clean image. Another very important thing when it comes to AI tools is object recognition and tagging. So if you are it's now built into many smartphones. So for example, iPhone users before, iPhone was creating galleries of their friends automatically. So if you were an iPhone user and then you had many pictures taken with let's say one of your friends or your husband, wife, or whoever, iPhone was able to automatically create a slideshow of a gallery of all the pictures that you had together with this person, and they use object recognition and tagging in order to assign, okay, this person is appearing in many images. Let's say this is person A. Let's create a gallery between you and the person A, throughout the year 2024. And using AI and object tagging, your phone is able to create a slideshow of you and your husband or your wife on a vacation together. And the application for object recognition and tagging is much more varied. I just gave a very, very simple example for you to understand that it's every day. So AIs and a lot of these technologies that I talk about are very much become everyday reality of all of us, not just teachers, but in all aspects of our life. And the last but not least is AI-powered cameras. So if you have a modern smartphone, your camera is AI-powered. So your camera is automatically enhancing your images the moment that you take them, or it is applying some denoising or different types of filters to your images in order to get a more polished and more optimized look. I think iPhone first really started using this technology a lot, but Samsung and other providers are not that far behind. Year in, year out, these things change. So iPhone might be the best this year, but Samsung might be the best one next year when it comes to using different AI enhancers and different AI tools inside the smartphone camera. And it's not only limited to smartphone cameras; it's becoming more adopted in professional cameras as well. Okay, so I'll just quickly talk about this slide because I already mentioned, what are these tools, but I just want to ask you, is this slide better or worse than the last slide. So the difference is this slide has a lot more information and it does not have a visual. And I intentionally put it like this in order for you to see and realize that by using a visual together with your information, it really makes for a more digestible and easier to understand concept. So the best way to do this slide that you are viewing now would be to break down individual points and create a visual that goes together with each of them, and then break it down into 5 different slides. Okay. So we are now coming to the practical part of the webinar. So for the practical part, you will need access to the Bing image creator, which is a free image creator made by Microsoft. If you go to Bing image creator inside your computer, you can navigate to this part, and I'll give everybody 1-2 minutes to just set everything, and then we'll go with the then we'll start with the exercise. So the exercise will be about creating a highly efficient and detailed prompt that will be used to create AI images. Okay, so I'll give everybody 2 minutes to open a Bing image creator. If you have other tools that you use to create, if you have other tools that you use to create images, you are free to use them. I just chose Bing because it's free and accessible to everybody. So if you have a Microsoft account, either via your school or personally, you can use that to create images. I also I found out recently that Google Slides also embedded a AI image generation inside their slides. But from what I understand, it's not available to the public. So if you're a free Gmail user, you won't have access to this. It's only available to Google Workspace users, and I pay for this a monthly subscription for my Gmail, for my company Gmail, so I have access to this. So that's why I went with Bing, and yeah, I think that's enough time. So I hope everybody has their Bing image generation. It looks like this. So I hope everybody has it open. And then we will start with just writing a simple prompt. And my example, I took a mountain under a blue sky. So I want to see a mountain under a blue sky. For you, it can be anything. If you want to make it easier, you can use the same prompt as I did in order to see, visually similar results. But it can work with anything. So you can choose, I don't know, a fishing boat on a lake, or a plane in the sky, or whatever it is. And here it really comes down to your personal creativity and your personal usage on what you want to create. Okay, so we gave it a very basic and simple prompt. So I want to see a mountain under a blue sky. Yeah. Just reading the chat quickly. Okay. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand. If you have any trouble in this process, you can raise your hand, and then I will help you set it up. So I gave it a very simple prompt. I gave it a prompt, mountain under a blue sky. And of course, it's very simple, and it gave me some results. But I don't want just to create a mountain under a blue sky. I really want to create something more detailed. And this is the way that I structure prompts. So like I quickly showed here, this is the cheat sheet. So I'll show this later, but for now, we'll stick to this slide now. Here you can see the steps from 1 to 8. Here you can see the basic prompt, and here you can see a final result. You can see the final result of the prompt. So when I think about creating a mountain under a blue sky, it's not just a mountain under a blue sky. In my mind's eye, in my head, I already have a pretty clear definition of how I want this mountain to look. I don't want it to be a cartoon mountain or a sketch mountain. I don't want it to be monotone. I really want vibrant colors. I want to see a snow-covered mountain. I want to see clear blue skies. I want it to be cinematic. I want a wide-angle perspective. I don't want a close-up. So in my mind, I already have some pretty clear parameters on how I want it to look. The problem is that I don't know what to write inside the image generation, so I just write mountain under a blue sky, and here I see something. Okay, it's looking good, but that's not really what I want. That's not how I view it. So because I'm very experienced in this, I already have a clear understanding of how I want it to look. But for you, you can use this, let's say, cheat. If you can see here, I want something of something under something. And this is just my example. It doesn't have to be relationally complex. It can be something very simple. But the second part is something that's then really defines the prompt and really defines the visual result that you will be getting from this. So let's say a photorealistic image of a snow-covered mountain under a clear blue sky. And for me, sometimes this is enough in order to create a more detailed prompt, or in order to create a more defining visual that's closer to something that I already envisioned in my head. What's important here is that we need to give parameters to the AI in order to really narrow down the result that it gives us, and we use this by applying a photographic language of concepts of photography that the AI will understand in order to create something that we want to create. So the second part of the prompt starts with the focus is on the something, the mountain peak. It's framed with a wide-angle perspective. The setting is a vast alpine landscape with a serene or calm atmosphere. So I already gave it what I want. I want a photorealistic image of a mountain, but I want the focus to be on the mountain peak. So I don't want the bottom of the mountain. I don't want the sides of the mountain. I want the very peak of the mountain. I want it in a wide angle perspective. So I don't want a very zoomed in image of the mountain peak. I really want to see the, some width. I want to see the entire mountain, but I want to keep the focus on the top. And the setting is a big alpine landscape with a calm atmosphere, with a serene atmosphere. And the last part of the prompt, which is getting into the more technical side, the lighting is soft and diffused, suggesting early morning or evening atmosphere. So this is called the golden hour or the blue hour, and we get into more details in our course. So the golden hour is, let's say, the best time of day to create images, and it's around sunset, where the lighting is still present, but it's very much soft, so you don't get harsh shadows either on the faces or the mountains or whatever your subject is. And the last part is a feeling. So I really want the AI to understand that I try to invoke a certain emotional reaction from the image. I want the image to be calm and awe-inspiring. So I want it to feel mighty, but not overpowering and not really difficult. Yeah, okay, just chat is... if Ivana, if something is required from me from the chat, you can freely interrupt me. Okay, so from the mountain,
Sorry,
yeah,
Ivan, to interrupt you for a second. We have really active participation in our chat that I'm really happy to see that. So yeah, there are some work you can just, I don't know, take a look at those, our active participants leaving their pictures in their work in the chat. And we have some questions. I think Corina asked about the presentation. I already said that our this session is being recorded and it will be there on our YouTube channel just to rewatch it again and again to remind yourself on all this session. And I think that Corina asked something about except Canva. Corina, I think that you asked some about free tools, if those tools are free. So you can
yes.
freely, I don't know,
So
write
yeah,
in chat whatever you want to know. Ivan will gladly answer your questions. So yeah,
so
so far.
Corina, to answer your question, Canva is has a free and paid version. So the background removing, I'm not sure if it's available in the free version. I use paid version for all of the tools because I use them professionally. But the Bing image generator is free, so it's not a tool that charges you. You can buy additional credits to create a lot of images, but I think they give you 100 credits per month. I'm not sure, so it's free. So the exercise you will be able to follow along. Yeah, I see some nice images. Great, great. And yes, of course, the Mid Journey is paid. I think I pay for Mid Journey, and it's my personal favorite. I'm not sure if they offer a free trial. I am a paying subscriber for more than half a year now, so I can't even really remember if I used a free trial at the beginning.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, Dragana, I already see that you started creating. Yeah, great, great. Yeah, that's exactly it. Okay, so I'll just go back to the presentation. If you can use this style of prompts, you can use this, let's say, cheat sheet in order to create a much more detailed prompt. And in the end, you can play around with different photographic parameters. So here, if you see this bunch of letters that you might not be able to understand, I'll just quickly give you a explanation. So this is 85 millimeter and f2.8, or 14 millimeter and f8.0, or 35 millimeter and f.40. These are photographic markings that tell the information on how your lens is structured and how it takes an image. So 85 millimeter lens is mainly used for portraits. So it will give you a much more zoomed in image that you can really frame the subject's head, with f2.8 meaning that only the front part of the image will be in focus, everything else will be in a big blur. Okay, a 14 millimeter lens is a wide angle lens, or a fisheye lens, that gives a very wide perspective, so it will not be zoomed in to the face. If we think about faces, if you take an image of a person using a 14 millimeter lens, you will probably capture most of their body. F8.0 means that everything that you capture will be in focus, and the rest, the very far part of the background will be not so much blurred. Okay, and a 35 millimeter lens will give you something in between, which is a more natural viewpoint or a more natural composition, and f 4.0 is again a more natural bokeh, a more natural blur, so it will not blur the rest of the background as much. And then I gave you here or question mark, and I invite you to try to use some of these in your prompt in order to change the angle of the prompt and the subject closeness. So you can use the same prompt and at the end just add, for example, 200 millimeter f2.8 or 14 millimeter f8 or 0, and you can play around with these numbers. So the lower the number, the wider the angle. The higher the number, the more zoomed in the image will become for you. Okay, so I'll give everybody a couple of minutes to try and test this out. So using the image that you have, try to add additional parameter that defines the millimeters and the lens aperture size, okay? And I'll just talk while you do it. So, and this is the way that you write effective visual prompts. You see the 8 steps here. So always start with the core subject. So mountain under a blue sky is our foundation. Add photorealistic details. So it can be a snow-covered mountain. So you really give more details to the parameters. You can give parameters about the weather. So clear blue sky. Then, after you have defined your subject, you go into the photographic style, for example, cinematic, but we really go into more details inside the course, and I give you a more detailed cheat sheet of what different styles you can use. Then you define the focal point and the composition. Then you define the setting and the atmosphere. Then you define the lighting. And then define the overall feeling as well as the last optional technical detail. So here just to be careful because I added this additionally, but a 200 millimeter lens is not a wide angle lens. So remember what I said before, the lower the number, the wider the angle of the image. The bigger the number, the more zoomed in that this image becomes. Okay, so I'll just move because we are running out of time. From the basic prompt that I created, mountain under a blue sky, using this effective visual prompting, I created a photorealistic image of a snow-covered mountain under a clear blue sky, captured in cinematic style. The focus is on the mountain peak, framed with a wide-angle perspective. The setting is a vast alpine landscape with a serene atmosphere. The lighting is soft and diffused, suggesting early morning or evening. The image feels calm and inspiring, and then just ignore this last part. So, because it's not the wide angle. And here I immediately saw, okay, it's giving me some weird camera style, like it's making the image be viewed from inside of the camera. And I said, okay, I really don't like this. So what's the problem? One of the keywords that I used here on the left side is telling the AI to create these types of frames that I really don't want on my image. And then I say, okay, it's a frame. I don't want the frame, so I don't want the focus. So I changed from the focus to just the subject, and then immediately I see a improvement. So on the first image, it removed the framing, but on the rest of them, it's still there. So I thought, okay, what's the next keyword that might be problematic? It's a frame. So I said, okay, let's delete the frame and then see what's the result. And, you know, this is the result that I see in my head, and this is the result that I want created. So on the right side, you can see the old prompt, and on the left side, you can see highlighted is what I updated in order for the image generation to get what I want, to give me what I want from it. And here is just 3 slides, and I'll just show you quickly. So on the left side is the basic prompt, mountain under a clear blue sky, a mountain under a blue sky. On the right side is the more detailed prompt. And I did this 3 times in a row in order to compare the different results that is going to give me. So left side basic prompt, and all the prompts are the same. right side detail prompt. So left side basic mountain, right side detailed mountain, left side basic mountain, right side detailed mountain, and then again left side basic and right side more detailed. And you can see, because I used a more detailed prompt on the right side, it's giving me visually very similar results. And because I really didn't give it enough information, on the left side it added something on its own. So it's all same prompts, but very different results. And this is the same prompt in Midjourney, and this is, let's say, Midjourney is a much better tool for me personally. At least the newer generations are much more better than Bing, the DALL-E 3 model. So the same image here, mounted under a blue sky, and then a more detailed, complex, and complete image, and this is more accurate to what I see in my mind when I imagine this mountain. So you can see it's a photorealistic image, so it looks like it was taken with a photographic camera. It's very cinematic. It really emphasizes the vastness of the landscape by, using these leading lines here. It also created the lighting in a very soft and diffused way, the way that I want it. This one was harsh daytime lighting. This one is much more natural and soft. And it added some of these key elements, like these little flocks of birds that are flying around, in order for me to really emphasize the distance and the scale of this mountain. Okay, so this is how it looks like in the tool, in the Midjourney tool. It's a much more advanced tool, because it gives you some abilities to create variations on different images. It can vary inside the image region, so you can select parts of the image and create variations or change something. And it can also give you some additional parameters, such as zooming in, zooming out. So if you're creating something that's very zoomed in, you can say to the image generator, okay, now create the rest of the image, and then you can just keep moving, zoom out. Yeah, okay, so I will just quickly take a look at your images. So Dragana, yeah, that's like I saw before, that's a great way of upgrading your prompt. So from just a cat reading a book to a much more detailed photo of a cat reading a book, and it's a very cute cat. So it's very nice, and I hope it's much more. It's closer to what you had in mind than the first one. Sometimes these image generators can really nail it on the first try. It can give you a really good result on the first try. But from my experience, the more you try to structure it, the harder it becomes. So it's really yet not that good in creating exactly what we want, but it's very, very close, and it's getting there. And a third version from Dragana, yeah, great. Okay, I'll start wrapping up today's webinar. First, I just want to thank you for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your interest in photography, visuals, and AI. It's a great passion of mine, and I really like to talk about it, to teach other people about the concepts and the visuals and photography and everything. So I'll invite you guys and girls to ask anything you want to know, either about today's webinar or the course in general. If we have some participants who want to join in on the discussion, you are free to unmute yourself or just raise your hand so Ivana can unmute you and ask any questions. You can also write them in the chat. If there are no questions, I'll just give some closing remarks. So I would invite you all to either contact us in the DM, in our direct messages, or via the email, or check our website, linaedu.eu, check the information about the course. You can also download the brochure from the website to see available dates and get additional information about the details of the course structure, the way that each day is broken down, and what are the specific learning outcomes, as well as the specific topics that we cover in the week-long course. And of course, what's really the most important for me here is I really want you to get inspired. So either take some photographs with your phone or your cameras, or use different tools with AI, image generators, to create some visuals in a way that you want them. So as Ivana already mentioned, this webinar will be on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, Lina Edu Erasmus Courses. So you will be able to watch the video and see the prompt cheat sheet in order to create these highly efficient visuals, and I hopefully visuals that really are more precise in the way that you want them to be, and in a way that it will be useful for you to use in your classroom and everyday life. So thank you again. My name is Ivan Boban, lead educator for Lina Edu for entrepreneurship and photography and AI. Thanks again for joining us today, and I hope you have a good rest of the day. And yeah, any questions, you are free to ask us, and I hope we do our best to answer them.
Thank you, Ivan. It's been really excellent insight in all that theory that you shared with us gladly and kindly with us today, and later on helping us with writing more useful, precise, and effective prompts, because it is not so easy to do them. Okay, so what I want to do for the rest, just not waste more time, quickly, I would like to point out that this is just the bite-size content that it is the part of our course Photography and AI Visuals in Teaching that is confirmed, and it will surely take place in Split, Croatia from the 3rd to the 8th of March 2025. So feel free to register to our course. We will really happily meet you here in Split. And feel free to visit our website. As Ivan said, download the brochure to have full insights, full scheduled program there, what you're going to do with Ivan in Split. And one more thing, as your reliable project partners, will take care of your training completely and responsibly. So thank you once again for participating, and it's really nice to see you being active here today. Follow us on our socials to being kept informed about our teacher training content that we really gladly share with you. We are talking about more webinars coming really soon, and don't forget to read our articles as well, written by all our lead educators, and sharing their experience there in our web blog. So yes, what's left to say is have a nice day, and we hope to see you again on our more webinars, future webinars that are really made for you, and to share with you all our knowledge that we have. So thank you once more. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye, Corina. Thank you, Mirjana, as well.